Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. This is match 3 of my new decks. We've got Imodane, the Pyro Hammer, Eriette of the Charmed Apple, Teysa and Harbin Vanguard Aviator. So as I've said in the last first two matches there, Harbin is the most upgraded of the three. I have him built the longest and actually tried to get him ready to play against my friends, whereas these three here were all just built off of what I had and were designed to just be played against other decks that built off of what I had as opposed to more refined decks. So as we saw last game, soldiers had a really big handicap the whole game because they didn't get any white, so the second half of the color scheme. But as soon as it did and got a few more, it went off and then ended up winning the game fairly strongly. So it kind of proved that it was in fact more fleshed out than the other decks. Hopefully we'll see some more cool interactions this time around. I'm actually pleased with all four decks. They're all doing what I designed them to do and doing it fairly consistently, fairly well. It just depends on how they hit, and of course they need upgrade. They need better mana rocks, they need better land bases. I mean, this one's monocolor, so that's okay, but they need better creatures, better whatever to do their thing. But from the general 3-row card box of stuff I had in those colors, I think they're pretty solid. I already rolled the dice, and Imodane is going to go first, so let's go ahead and jump in. Draw for turn. We're going to play an Evolving Wilds, cracking it for a mountain, and then pass. Draw for turn one over here. And I'll play the command tower I just drew. Nothing else we can do, pass. Draw for turn over here. Play a plains, and go ahead and pass. What a riveting turn one! Just kidding. Draw for over here. Play a Path of Ancestry comes in tapped, and we will pass. All right, turn two. Here's where the game gets going. Not really. We're going to play another mountain over here, and no two drops. We'll pass. So how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being here watching the show. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It does help. I would like to get my numbers up high enough that I could do charity events, live streams once or twice a year. That's the secondary and yet bigger goal of the channel. The first one, of course, is just to get for me to get better at deck building and playing Magic so I can actually win a little bit more against my friends. But raising money for Extra Life would be a lot of fun too, and raise my numbers every year. Draw for turn here, play a plains. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do there. We're gonna pass. Draw for turn, play a swamp, and we can actually do something. Thought Vessel. It's not crazy, but hey, at least it's a turn to play. We're gonna pass. Draw over here, untap, of course, play an island, and then rinse and repeat almost. We're gonna play an Arcane Signet over here, and because I just drew into it, we're gonna tap for, we'll say white because it doesn't matter, to play Spectrum Sentinel. Protection from multicolor whenever a non-basic land enters the battlefield under your opponent's control, you gain 1 life. That'll be tough to remember, but we'll remember it every time we come over here, hopefully. So there you go. See right there, soldiers is doing pretty solid on turn two, even though, tap land and all that. So we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play another mountain. I will tap 3, discard, vandalize to play Honor of the God Pharaoh. I'm going to amass 1. I make a little 1/1 Pharaoh army, whatever you want to call it, and then I draw 2 cards. Okay, not really what I wanted. I was hoping to draw some lands. And this what I did draw, however, does remind me that this deck and that deck, maybe that one, they do have proxies. It's extremely rare for me to have proxies in a deck. I will show you on the next turn because I'll play it. But the point is, I'm not against proxies. I understand the reasoning behind them, especially it's like, I definitely lean towards the understanding that, oh, I own this card, but it's really expensive, and I have 3 decks that need it, so I proxy them into the 3 decks, and I have the real card in a binder with me. Here it is. That I can get behind. I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're not gonna, oh, you saved up and you bought a dual land. Well, then you shouldn't. Okay, I don't expect you to buy 15 of them at like $300-400 each just to put in your decks. Although proxying them into every single deck you have that has those colors is a bit like, it's one of those things. It's just hard for me to like completely get behind because it's like, well, in that sense, when it's expensive cards, you know, because I'm like, well, but you don't have the card then I'm playing against a not real deck and you're beating me because you have these super expensive, powerful cards. And if you didn't have them, I might have a chance. So there's a little bit of saltiness in there, I'll grant you. But obviously, if it's a turn zero discussion and someone's up front and says, hey, look, I got these proxies, here's my reasoning, I'd be like, okay, cool, whatever, let's play. And so the proxies I have, again, I'll show you that. Why wait, right? It's a Ruby Medallion. Red spells cost one less. I'm going to play it next turn. And it's just gorgeous, really gorgeous art. Wait, there we go. Really gorgeous art from Proxy Forge. You can find them on Twitter. They have a really cool store. They have really awesome tokens. And I have a bunch of tokens that I got from them. And then like this was part of one of their sets. You can only get them in like sets for like I think this was Commander Staples. I think it was just like Commander Staples. So it was like each of the medallions in each of the colors, and then like Nyx Shrine to Nyxoth and like a couple other things. So pricey cards in the sense that they're like, $20-$30 each, but nothing like, oh, here's a proxy Black Lotus or something like that. It's like, okay, especially with the reprints, I could probably get a regular Ruby Medallion for like $10 to $20 right now, $15 to $20, I guess. So this proxy is not that big of a deal, but like all the art was really gorgeous, Japanese themed, and so I got it and was like, yeah, I'll put them in a couple decks, but I'm not gonna go crazy with that. But I do recommend Proxy Forge. Please check them out. It's not a sponsorship of any kind. I'm not getting any kickbacks or anything. They're just really gorgeous artwork, quality card. It wasn't like paper thin or something. So I did have to put like an actual Magic card. Uh, let's see, is it Proxy Forge there? I put a Magic card behind it so that because otherwise it would stand out in these penny sleeves. But all right, so I played this. This is going. We're gonna pass. Yeah, I am nowhere near popular or big enough to get any kind of anything from anybody. So if I talk about something, it's just because I like it and the person seems cool or the team seems cool. Until I learn otherwise, I think they're pretty solid. So we untap, upkeep, draw over here. We're gonna play a swamp for turn. I'm gonna start out and tap and play what I just drew, a Ghostly Prison. Creatures can't attack me unless they pay 2 mana for each creature attacking. Let's just put everybody on the slow down. Don't even think of coming this way for a while. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play another Plains. I will then tap 2 and play Bone Caller Cleric, a 2/1. I can pay 4 mana and sacrifice it to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Why are these here? I don't know why those are there, so they'll go on the bottom. That's weird. I'm sure I'll watch it and be like, why are those there? But hopefully it's not any kind of. I mean, it's super early in the game. It can't affect anything. And they were face down. It wasn't like that was my hand because my hand's over here. But that's all we can do. Yeah, that's all we can do. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Going to play a Mirrored Landscape, comes in tapped. And we're going to go ahead and tap 3 to play Herald's Horn. As it enters the battlefield, we're going to choose Soldiers. Soldiers cost 1 less to cast. And at the beginning of upkeep, we need the reminder. Boom, extra life dice for the win. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a soldier, put it in your hand. Otherwise, leave it there, and then you draw a card for your actual draw step. I can attack them, but I have to pay 2, so I can't attack them, so we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Cool. I drew a mountain, which is what I needed. We're going to go ahead and tap all 4 to play Imodane, the Pyro Hammer. The 4/4, whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control that targets only a single creature deals damage to that creature, Imodane deals that much damage to each opponent. Very, very cool. Really excited to start upgrading this deck and see how dangerous it can be and how fast it can win. As much as I really love my Torwaki deck, and I've said before, I'm kind of worried that Imodane might actually just be a better version of Torwaki in terms of the direct damage red that I enjoy. I just enjoy direct damage, period. I have a lot of black decks that do direct damage, and I've kind of tried to build some stuff around that. So it's clearly it has over the last like 6 months I've come to realize that is my playstyle. I like going to combat and swinging, but I just prefer to not even bother and just kill everybody through indirect damage or direct damage to the face and stuff like that. But anyway, play Imodane, pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw turn. We're going to go ahead and play the Broker's Hideout, sacking it to get. I guess we'll get a. You know what? We'll get a Plains because I do have a Swamp in my hand. So we'll keep that balance going. Again, with this deck as well, I like basically both of these two black-white decks. I don't remember exactly how much black and how much white is in there in terms of the card pips. You know, the little things up top. I don't know why they're called pips. That seems so weird, but they are. Uh, but anyway, I don't remember, so I'm not gonna worry about trying to get that many. Oh, I need more black, lands or more white lands. It's like whatever. We're gonna tap all three for Eriette of the Charmed Apple. 2/4. Each creature that's enchanted by an aura I control can't attack me or planeswalkers I control, and at the beginning of my end step, each opponent loses X life and I gain X life, where that's the number of auras I control. Aura's not enchantment, so it won't do anything about Ghostly Prison, but we're gonna pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play another Plains. Yeah, this is kind of a feel bad for the rest of the decks, but you know what? If you're gonna win, you gotta win, right? I'm gonna tap a black to play Dark Ritual. Add 3 black mana to your mana pool. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6. Tap for 7. Shieldred. 6/6 with Swamp Walk. Shieldred, this Whispering one. At the beginning of my upkeep, return target creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. So yeah, sorry guys. But come on, man, it's turn 3 or turn 4. Yep, sucks to be y'all. Pass turn. So we're going to untap. We've got 2 upkeep triggers. We have to sacrifice a creature, and we get to look at the top card. Is it a soldier? It is. It goes to our hand, and then we actually draw for turn. Well, since I don't want to play any creatures just yet, we're going to tap 2 and sacrifice Mirrored Landscape to get 2 planes to the battlefield tapped, since we had the problem with the planes last game. And we have a lot of white spells in hand. I think this deck does tend to be planes heavy in terms of the mana pips and what the cards actually are, so we want to focus on those. So all we're doing over here, we're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, we'll get rid of the army, thank goodness we had that. Draw for turn. Alright, Children is 6, can we do 6 damage? I really don't think we can. We're going to tap 2, play the Ruby Medallion. The red spells cost 1 less to cast. Then I'm going to tap 2 and play Flick a Coin. Flick a Coin deals 1 damage to any target. You create a treasure token, and you draw a card. So draw a card, that's the treasure, and it's going to deal 1 damage to that thing, even though Chivalry can get it back, but it blows it up, and then every opponent takes 1 damage. Unfortunately, on my next upkeep, I will have to get rid of Imodane, which is not good. But we're just going to have to try and bide our time to figure out what we can do to get rid of that. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw, keep trigger, rather, we lose her, and she costs 2 more to cast next turn. Or next time we try it, not good. We draw for turn, play a swamp. So we could recast her, but at this point it would be foolish because get immediately destroyed again. Tap 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Angelic Accord. Beginning of each end step, if I gain 4 or more life, I make a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. That's all we can do, we pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. At my upkeep, before I draw, I can return Bone Caller to the cleric. Bone Caller to the cleric. Bone Caller cleric to the battlefield. Bone Caller is ready. We're going to tap all 4 to bring out Teysa Karlov. 2/4. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. Creature tokens you have vigilance and lifelink. Well, we got ourselves a 6/6 that can go a swampin'. Swamp Walk means I can get you even if you do have stuff. So we're going to go ahead and swing. Oh, I got rid of the. Wait, yeah, right? I got rid of the army. So I still had Imodane, but she's going to die on my next upkeep. So we're going to swing at you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because you did pretty solid already. I mean, like this game, you already started to get stuff out. No, you didn't. I thought you did. You were the one that did pretty solid already. Whatever. Don't you whatever me? Yeah, you're dangerous too. So you take 6 damage and we pass turn. We're going to untap, upkeep, trigger. We look at the top card. It is not a soldier, so we draw it for turn. Go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not enough. So we will tap 1, 2, 3 and play Letter of Acceptance. We have 3 more mana, but definitely don't want to cast any creatures right now because they won't survive. So we're going to go ahead and pass. Now over here, we untap, upkeep, destroy Imodane, and cost 2 more to cast, and then we draw a card for turn. Ooh, okay, this is a fun card, so we might as well play it in its enchantment. Yeah, let's do it. Cost 1 less to cast, so it only costs 2. To play Descent into Avernus. If you know this card, you're probably already cheering. It's a good, well, maybe not cheering, but it's a good card. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 Descent counters on Descent into Avernus, so we put a reminder. Then each player creates X treasure tokens, and Descent into Avernus deals X damage to each player, where X is the number of Descent counters on it. So every turn, it gets everybody more mana, but it pings them for more and more damage. So it helps and hurts at the same time, and speeds up games, basically. Because either it just kills everybody, or someone pops off because they're using all of their treasures to do something really crazy, or it just gets blown up and the game continues as normal. All we can do though, so we will go ahead and, well, no, I mean, we do have 3 mana left, and red spells cost 1 less. Sure, why not? That's not a land. We'll sacrifice that and tap these 2 to play Leyline of Lightning. It wasn't in my opening hand, so I couldn't do it then. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay 1. If you do, Leyline of Lightning deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. That'll probably end up coming out because it's just 1 target. It was, again, something I had. It deals damage where, plus you gotta pay to use it, so it's like, if you want to dump a bunch of spells, you can't pay for every single one, so it's kind of, it has to be in very specific decks. We're gonna pass. Untap, upkeep, draw, play a plains for turn. Okay, we're gonna tap 1, 2, 3, and put Cage of Hands. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. However, its effect still is there, so it can't hit us for 6 anymore, or anybody. But it still can make a sacrifice creature, so it's really not helping that much. But it buys a little time, sort of. We're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Oops, draw. Play Swamp. 1, 2, 3 to create Hallowed Spirit Keeper. A 3/2 vigilance. When Hallowed Spirit Keeper dies, create X 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So that one could backfire if that dies early because I don't have anything in my graveyard. I still have 3 mana open, but that's not enough to do anything. This does untap. Oh wait, you know what? That was not a good idea. I should have done a different one. I'm always, well, you know what? That's fine because I don't have any open white because, again, I didn't read. Neither player read this card properly. You can pay a 1 and a white and return Cage of Hands to its owner's hand. So it's kind of designed like, hey, this is going to stop your creature unless you waste mana to get rid of it. And then it just goes back to my hand so I can do it again. But it's only 2 mana wasted, so especially mid-game, it's not going to really stop too many people. But I can't pay to remove it this turn because I don't have white available because I didn't read it. However, you're open and you're open, so it would be actually everybody's open. So yeah, we'll start swinging. 1 for, well, this is Summoning Sickness. You already took some damage, so we're gonna send. And it's 2. We're gonna send this guy at you, and you. Oops. Are gonna take 2 commander, and we'll pass. Okay, untap, upkeep, trigger. It is not a soldier, so we will draw it for turn. Tap 2 to play the card we just looked at. Deliberate, scry 2, then draw a card. Put those both on the bottom, because honestly at this point we need a land, and we draw a land. That's awesome. We'll play the plains for turn. It doesn't help right now, but hopefully next turn we have an answer for that nonsense, so we can get the game going. Pass turn. Untap. Upkeep. Upkeep. We got our Descent into Avernus thing going. So it gets 2 counters, 2 wee treasures. Well, each player makes them. I'm not going to draw them all. Everybody's got 2. And then everybody takes 2 damage. Let's see, it's going to be fun to, speed things up. You know what? That works. Red spells cost 1 less, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures on the battlefield, so that makes it 5 less. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, just enough. Well, I have the things. Blasphemous Act. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield, and it costs 1 less to cast because of the medallion, so 13 damage to each creature. Suck it. Well, now we are going to have to do a thing, because they're going to. So she's going to see all these creatures die. This will go. It doesn't go back to your hand because you didn't pay for it. Children's going to die. What happens if a creature dies? Oh, we don't even have anything real to do. That sucks. I mean, I don't think anything is because they're all going to hit the graveyard at the same time. So Hallowed Spirit Keeper is not going to trigger, and we didn't already have a creature in the graveyard. So yeah, that sucks. We just lose out on that, and she costs 2 more to cast. But we needed to get rid of that so the game could get going. And now this person doesn't have to use their board wipe that they were sitting on that they are not going to tell anybody about. But, well, no, I'm not going to pay the 1 to activate this. That'd be a waste of a treasure at this point. Because we need more to recast. We need those treasures to do that. So we're going to pass. Okay. Untap. Upkeep. Draw for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Recasting Eriette of the Charmed Apple. I still have 3 mana left. Sacrifice those 2 and tap to play Daneth, Capson, Paragon. I think that's the 3rd time we've seen that. Like each game she comes out. Auras and equipments cost 1 less to cast. She's a 2/2 with first strike, vigilance, and lifelink. Very good card and great for this deck. It's just annoying that it comes out every game. Okay, that's all we can do. We're gonna pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sacrificing the 2 of those. For the commander text, you recast Teysa. I have 2 mana left, not enough to do anything. We will pass. Untap, upkeep, trigger. It is not a soldier, so we draw it. We're going to tap 1 in that to cast Harbin, Vanguard Aviator. A 3/2 flyer. Whenever you attack with 5 or more soldiers, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain flying until end of turn. Very fun deck and a really easy commander to build around. I will then creature spells cost. He's just blue and white, so he doesn't cost any less. It only takes away cost of non-colored mana. But we're going to tap 2 white. Well, actually, what we'll do is we'll tap Plains and Path of Ancestry for white, and then Letter of Acceptance, and it costs 1 less. No, that's not what I wanted. Loxodon Gatekeeper, a 2/3 artifact, creatures, and lands your opponent's control come into play tapped. It's going to be hard to remember that, but hopefully we can try. I have 1, 2, 3 left, so I will. No, actually, that's 4. So we'll tap 1 and then sacrifice the 2 treasures. It costs 1 less. And cast Daru Warchief. Soldier spells you play cost 1 less to cast. Hey, guess what? I should have played that first like I accidentally tried to. Because then that would have been. I would have had 1 open mana. Again, you gotta read your cards, people. Don't just assume you know what you have in your hand and what they do. That burns me so many times. But anyway, now soldiers cost 2 less to cast. But unfortunately, because I didn't do that, I don't have the mana necessary to cast the 3rd soldier I have in my hand because it requires 2 colored mana. But there we go. We're going to go ahead and pass. Oh, and he also says soldiers get +1/+2, which is also awesome. Pass turn. Untap. Upkeep. We're going to put 2 more counters on Descent into Avernus. So now we have 4 treasures, and everyone takes 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoot, did I give... Wait a second. Darn, I don't remember if I took the damage off the first Avernus. Okay, so I was at 36. Something hit me for 4 damage. And I think maybe I did. I think maybe I got hit. I did. Yeah, okay. Phew, we're good. Because they hit me for 2 with one of their small creatures, and then I took 2 damage off of Avernus, which put it at 36. Okay. I'm pretty sure we're okay there. Ruby Medallion makes creature or red spells cost 1 less, so that helps with the commander attacks. So we need 5 to pay it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang on, we're just going to do this the smart way. instead of constantly scratching it out and writing it. We recast Imodane. I am not going to pay the one. See, that's why that card's definitely going to come out of that deck. Oh, sorry, I was a little low. I'm not going to pay the one for that because that's close. I'm definitely going to take this out at some time soon here. Uh, does come in tapped. Ooh, and artifacts come in tapped. So that means technically two of these are tapped. So we'll just say that, they're all tapped. Because I have one untapped that's not enough to. Well, it is enough. Okay. Because you have to tap sacrifice the treasures to do them. So that kind of stops you from using treasures. We'll do this because it doesn't matter because they're going to untap on all the untap steps, but just for visuals. I will sacrifice one of the one treasure that was able to be sacrificed to play Torch the Tower. It deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. We're not going to bargain it. So it's just going to do 2 damage, but we're going to do 2 damage to your War Chief because it's the easiest target. So now your soldiers cost a little bit more again, and they don't get that buff. But the creature was dealt damage, so now every opponent takes 2 damage. That's all we can do. We're going to pass. Tap upkeep, draw for turn, play the planes, tapping 2 to play Starfield. You know what? We're going to tap the 2 treasures to play Starfield Mystic. 2/2 enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Starfield. That's another one that we've seen almost every game. Again, super great for this deck and very, very helpful, but annoying that that's just, there's like 99 cards, blah, blah. I say it all the time, but it's just frustrating. Not just for content creators' sake, but like just in playing a game. You play games with your friends and they literally just see the same cards over and over again. Meanwhile, there's a good 20 or more cards in your deck that your friends have never seen. And they could have had fun interactions, but the weird way shuffling works, they just don't pop up and it's stupid. Okay, he comes in tapped. Okay, I'm going to tap 2, and it costs 2 less to bestow onto Eriette Night Howler. It gets +X+X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. Not going to be very much. 1, 2. It's giving her a buff of 5, which is sizable. It's more than I thought it was. I'm going to tap 1 for white, or for black, rather, to then Morgul Knife Wound your Loxodon. It says enchanted creature has -3/-0 and has at the beginning of your upkeep exile this creature unless you pay 2. And then finally, I'm going to tap 1 white because everything costs way less. And I'm going to Burrow. No, we're going to put on you. Now, see, the problem is this isn't one of the ones that stops abilities. So putting it on either of the two, like, she's not meant to swing. She's not really meant to swing. So it's not going to help. But we'll fog on the Borrow Downs on your commander where it will matter. It's now a spirit and can't attack or block. We could swing, and you are open. So we'll do that since we didn't give you a thing. We're going to swing 5, 6, 7 commander damage at you. That's pretty sizable. And then we're going to pass turn at the end step. Each opponent loses life, and I gain life equal to the number of auras I control. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I gain 1, 2, 3. Get it, area, yeah. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw the turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. To play Minthra, Merciless Soul. A 2/2 with Ward X, where X is the number of experience counters you have. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, get an experience counter. Creatures you control get +1/+0 for each experience counter you control, or you have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 left. Yeah, we'll tap, and that comes in tapped. And sacrifice those to play Herald of the Dread Horde. When it dies, amass 2. That comes in tapped as well. I'm going to move the combat, and I'm going to swing a 2/4 at you, Commander. I think you'll take it, because you just gained 2 life, or you gained 3 life. Wait, hang on. I guess I better put that. Now I don't even know. Oh, so that, yeah, okay. Did I already hit her? I must have. I think, unless I probably did it wrong. But no, that's a 4. That just came in, so it must have been her. That's all I can do. We'll pass. Untap. Doesn't really matter. And nothing really matters. I don't know how to sing. Untap. Thing. Nope. It's a maze of if. I'll draw it. I'll play it. Even though it doesn't tap for land, it does untap attacking creatures. Okay, we're not doing too great. Oh, and at my upkeep, I have to pay 2 life or exile that. Yeah, I guess I'll just exile it because there's no point in taking damage now. We'll do 1, 2, and another one for. Nope, wait a second. They cost 1 less. So we'll do Path of Ancestry for white and then the blue. And that's dumb because we have plenty of white and only 1 blue. So we'll do this way, Path of Ancestry for blue, whatever. To play Daxos of Meltless. A 2/2, he can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile a top card of that player's library. You gain life equal to its converted mana cost, and then you can play it till end of turn, and mana is mana of any color to do it. I will then tap 1, 2, 3, all of it being blue, to play Archmage's Charm. Target player draws 2 cards. It has other things, but I'm just going to do that for right now. Nothing else I can do. I can't attack. Oh, wait, I do have these. Is that worth anything? Yeah, I suppose. We'll tap this, sack the 2 treasure to play Call the Coppercoats. Targeting you, I'm going to make 3 1/1 soldiers. Here, we'll put him over here because they can't attack, but these ones can. Unfortunately, there's 1/1s and a 2/2, so it's not really going to be very scary, but we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, trigger. Oh yeah, 2 more Avernus counters, so everyone gets 2 treasures again. Wait a second, is it more treasures? Wait a second. The beginning of your upkeep, put 2 descent counters, and then create. Oh, it's X. Oh shoot, I messed that up last time. So we now make 6 treasures, and I think they had 2, so that makes 8. They had. No, they didn't have any left over. I don't think anybody had any left over except for me. So that's right. I forgot how good it was. It's like it's not just the damage; it's exponential growth on not exponential, but it's very increased growth on the treasures too. So you can like dump your hand and go. Okay, that's the upkeep trigger. I still have to draw a card. Please be a cool blast spell of some sort. Well, it's a blast spell at least. And before I forget, everybody takes 6 damage. Tap 1 because red spells cost 1 less to play Lightning Strike. It deals 3 damage to target creature or player. What creature is messing things up the most? That's too big to blast. Those things aren't really a concern. You blast them, stuff happens. And this has war. We don't have experience counters yet, but that makes them less. So we're gonna 3 damage to this, which means Imodane triggers, and every opponent takes 3 damage. Here's some good stuff. We're gonna tap 2 and then tap 1 and sacrifice all 8 treasures for a total of 9 for the X. Volcanic Geyser for 9, targeting you. So it's going to deal 9 damage to you. Well, let's see. You're at 5. Yeah, that's just enough to kill you, actually. That was lucky. 2 more to recast that. I think you haven't. It's at that stage of the game where I'm not entirely sure if I've had to recast her. Probably have. I have, right? Because of Shieldred. Because I got her out early. So I think it's 4 more to cast. But anyway, the point is 9 damage means it's 9 damage to everybody. Nice. So I'm at the highest life total. So when this triggers again and everyone takes 8, it will kill them and almost kill everybody else. Yeah, okay. I don't have any more mana to cast anything, so we're gonna pass. But see, that is what Imodane can do, especially with those big X spells that you just dump all the mana into. Now, of course, someone we most likely would counter that, but still, that's the goal. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. 3, 4, 7. So we'll sacrifice all the treasures and tap one of these to recast Eriette, and then tap 3 to cast Searchlight just because I have it in my hand and I am now top decking. We'll move to the end step. We still do have one enchantment out there, so we'll gain a life and everybody else will take a damage. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep. Wait a second, hang on. Didn't I blow something up? I blew up, yeah, I targeted this with the 3, sorry. So anyway, draw a card for turn. Tap the 3 for Filigree Familiar. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. That's important. And then when it dies, you draw a card. Fortunately, there's really nothing I can do. So we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep trigger. It's not a soldier, so we draw it. It's just a plains. We'll play it. Now the deck's giving us nothing but plains because it thinks it's funny. Okay, we'll tap 2 and sacrifice Letter of Acceptance to draw a card. Wow, it's an island. Okay. Yeah, we're kind of screwed. I mean, we're gonna die no matter what, so we're gonna swing. We're gonna swing the board at you because, of course, we're gonna block. No, Daxos can't be blocked by creatures of 4 or 3 or greater, so he's gonna get through. You're gonna take 2 damage, and then you're gonna block one of the soldiers, and then another 2 get through. And then his ability is you exile a top card of the library. You're going to gain 4 life, and then you can cast this spell. Deals 4 damage to target creature. You can use mana as though it were mana of any color. You can totally take 4 of the treasures to cast, cut in, and destroy Imodane. Costs an extra 4 to cast. Now it's not going to be a concern once the treasures hit from Descent to Avernus. But that was at least something. We gained some life. We took them down, and now they're going to be they have the highest life total, so they're more likely to live. But we'll see. But unfortunately, that's all we can do. We're going to pass. We're going to untap. We're going to upkeep. I will draw the card first just because. But we're going to upkeep. This goes up to 8, and everyone's going to take 8 damage. I know I'm doing this out of turn, like out of order, I think. Too bad. Whoops, not up. Darn it. Shoot, what were you at? You were at 7. Right, and then we go down to -1. You were not up that high. Okay, you were at 11. So you go down to 3, you go down to 5. You were at 11, you go down to 3. And everybody gets 8 treasure tokens. So you now have 10, you have a whole bunch. I don't think it's going to matter. Well, then again, yeah, it should be okay. All right, so we're going to tap 2. They cost 1 less. We're going to oh no, shoot, I forgot. First, we're going to tap all 8 treasures to recast Imodane. Duh, that's very important. Then we're going to tap 2, i.e. 3, to, where it is, there it is, Wizard's Lightning. Deals 3 damage to any target. We're going to deal 3 damage to Daxos. He dies. Then each opponent takes 3 damage. Daxos isn't there. You're dead. I forgot. The old caboose, you're dead. So, this dies, rather. 1, 2, 3, you're dead, and then shoot. What were you at? 5, I think? 1, 2, 3, because I stopped midway. Shoot. This is interesting. Oh, I'm going to play the mirrored landscape I drew, but it comes in taps, so it doesn't help me. And yeah, I guess I'll pay the 1 when I cast the spell to deal 1 damage to you. But unfortunately, and if I swing in, you swing back, and probably, well, you can't necessarily. Oh, I have to pay to swing into you anyway. You know what? I think we're gonna lose because Descent into Avernus is gonna kill us. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's gonna be game. Oh my gosh, 1 life left. Because I mean, I may have messed up the life totals when I was bouncing back and forth because I got distracted halfway through and kind of screwed them up. But I think I was right with where they landed. But yeah. And I think I screwed up the second Descent into an Avernus. So, they might already be dead at this point. I think they might be. I don't think I I don't know. I don't remember if I went back already and took those extra 2 damage. I think I kind of did. Who knows? Unskilled, gosh darn it. It's a lot to keep track of. That is literally all we can do because it took all of the treasures just to recast Imodane, right? Because we didn't have any treasures. Even if we did, even if we had like 2 treasures, it wouldn't be enough to do anything. So that doesn't matter. So then we pass, then we upkeep over here, draw for turn. I mean, tap 2 for Griffin Airy. Doesn't matter because we're not gaining any life, so the Angelic Accord's not helping. And we literally are top deck there. We have no cards in hand. There's nothing we can do. There's not even a point to swinging. We just pass turn. Descent into Avernus. Actually, oh shoot. Is it a tie or a draw? I guess it is. Because we pass turn, and then what's it say? At the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 descent counters on Into Avernus, which would be 10. Then each player creates 10 treasure tokens, and Descent into Avernus deals 10 damage to each player. And we don't have any instants. If we had an instant, we could probably try and use that mana to do something, but they don't have any cards in hand, and I have a creature and an enchantment. You know what? Just because I don't want to, I mean, that would be a first for the channel. I guess that's kind of cool. I mean, I guess that's something because it does happen. Occasionally, there are, draws like that where it just kind of screws up. Because the point is, we would both take 10 damage and we would both die. Nobody would die first. So we're gonna kind of like rewind a little bit and say that I did because we're gonna say we knew that. Like these 2 players had the brains to realize that that was gonna hit them both. And it's like, well, we're not doing it. I'm just gonna swing at you. Oh no, that wouldn't work because if you took the damage, you'd die, and if you blocked, both creatures would die. So it doesn't matter. It's a draw. Put it there, kaboosh! It's a draw. That's unfortunate. I don't know if it's unfortunate. It's just weird. I've never had a draw before, really. I don't think in any of my actual games with friends, I don't think we've had draws. Well, there you go. So nobody wins. Except these 2 guys do lose, but nobody else wins. All right. I hope you guys had fun watching. Again, I'm actually really pleased with all 4 decks. That's a rarity, They all performed the way they were supposed to perform and went back and forth. Nobody really had the game the whole time or something. Everybody, there was some interaction. Like I said, I don't put a ton of that junk in there, but, there was some stuff that allowed for, we got rid of Childred and we got rid of stuff. So pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you saw some cool cards you want to put in your decks. If you have these commanders, how do you build them? How do you do it differently? What are some key cards you'd suggest to put into these decks to make them better? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time.